So hello everyone from Green-Mopeds at Strawberry Hill. So today we're going to give you a static review of the Super Soco CUx, which is Vmoto's first electric moped. The other bikes in their range are, as you know, the TS, the TC and the TC Max. So this is their first moped. It is a 1.3 kilowatt or 1300 watt electric moped. Here you can see a lineup of 3 of the 4 colours. So this is obviously grey, they call this one Starlight Silver, and then this is Pininfarina Red or something like that, but essentially red. There's also a white, and then there's a Ducati version coming in about September, which is no change technically from the rest of the lineup, but has some Ducati branding on it, and for that you pay £200 more. The price of this bike retail is actually 2623, but after the government grant this goes down to 2099. So 2099 is the price you pay. As you can see, it's quite a nice looking bike. It's actually about 1.7 meters long, and the seating position is about 77 centimeters high. As I've said on other reviews of this bike, one thing I do like about it is the fact that it's got a flat seat, so you don't have to worry about where you sit based upon your riding position. It is meant for 2 people. As you can see down here, we've got pegs which will enable that second person to rest their feet. The motor, as you can see, is made by Bosch, probably under license in China, but essentially a Bosch motor nonetheless, so you've got good quality on the motor there. You also have some bars for you to hold on to. The thing about this bike is that along with a lot of the others, we're recommending that you take a rear rack, if only because this is what meets you underneath the seat. It's the 60 volt battery. The way that these work is essentially they just plug out, and there you go. So you can charge this from a 13 amp plug. It has Panasonic cells in it, so 18650 cells, which is, if you like, the standard for lithium ion batteries in bikes such as this. The total range of the bike is about 40 miles, and the charging time is about 7 hours. So you could, for example, take this to your office, charge it under your desk, as it just needs a 13 amp plug from this charger here. Okay, so this is the charger. Obviously one end goes into the battery, the other end will go into a standard 13 amp plug. Then you could charge it under your desk and then get your 40 miles back on the way back. So just plug this back in. Not so easy with there is a kill switch here, as you can see, which is meant if you're leaving the bike off for a long period of time. Also under the seat you have a small storage area. I thought this was actually big enough to take the charger, but unfortunately not, because it catches on this. So another reason to take a specific rack and a top box. I'll show you the contents of the box in a second. So essentially you just turn the bike on there and you have your dashboard. Now, one of the big advantages of its nearest competitor, which is the NIU M+, was that NIU have sort of standardized on having an app which enables you to track the bike and also to test the bike. So Super Soco are now essentially caught up in that regard, so there is an app available for this bike. So essentially the way it works is it's twist and go. So here you have on the dashboard the ability to change your mode. So here you can see I can go between 1 and 3, and this bike is a moped, so this can be ridden on a P category on your license or an AM or anything greater than that. Okay, so you can simply just change the modes on, up and down like this. Okay, you'll notice this little camera icon here, so that means that this bike comes, or should come, or could come with a camera built into the actual front of the bike. So here, these bikes currently do not have that. Cameras are being provided as a sort of after sale or retrofit, if you like. The prices of that are to be determined right now. As you can see from looking at the front, it's got some nice looking LED headlights. And one thing that I do like about this bike, which is in effect an advantage over the NIU M+, is that the lights are actually mounted in the handlebars. So obviously as you turn, the lights turn. So if you're going into a dark left or right hand turn at night, then your lights will actually be pointing into the corner that you're turning into. Whereas the NIU, their halo light, as you call it, is mounted on the front of the panel here, and therefore that will always be facing forward. Not a big issue per se, but something that obviously Super Soco have thought about. Okay, so this camera button would enable the recording to the actual phone through a Bluetooth connection, and as I said, that is to be set up. So on this side of the bike we have the standard indicators. Unlike the NIU, they are silent and they don't make a noise or self-cancel. Again, not particularly a big issue. You've got your horn and then cruise control. So a lot of these bikes have cruise control, obviously your full beams and things like that. It is twist and go, so essentially you just enable the bike to go and then twist the throttle. The front and rear brakes is through the right hand side, and this is the rear brake. There is regen on this bike, so you'll hear it sort of clicking as you're braking to recoup some of the energy. Okay, so around the back we've got some rather nice LEDs. In fact, Super Soco have actually just enhanced this rear end, because this reflector used to be down here. And once you put your plate on it, that reflector was covered up, which would have been an MOT failure. So they've now thought about that and moved it up here. Other than that, it's got front and rear disc brakes. And there are actually some other options available for this bike, including the ability to create little outriggers. So these outriggers are essentially just places to rest your feet, and they would end up sitting here and here, and that's partially because the bike is fairly narrow, which is in some respects a good thing, enables you to nip in and out of traffic, but that is an option. So what happens is you get essentially a metal sort of frame that comes out from here, connects into here, and then you have a new mat that goes over the top. There's also some other interesting little additions that you can get for this bike, including wider fairings, if you like, that will make the bike have a bit of more of a wind deflector. Not sure if you need that, but essentially the primary accessory that you probably would take is an alternative rear rack. Super Soco do list a top box as an option for this on their website, but I don't think it's actually available, and like most of these bikes, the standard top boxes that come with them are pretty small. A lot of them don't even take a helmet. So we're suggesting that you take the rack, because you have to. So you would replace this with the box, taking rack, and then go to Shad or Givy or someone like that and take one of their top boxes with a universal bracket. So the universal bracket is an extra option when you buy a Shad or Givy top box, and that enables you to fit it to any rack. So you would basically do that. Then you'll be able to fit a rack that's more a top box that's more appropriate to the actual bike. So this is what you get in the box along with the bike. So the first thing that might be of interest is actually this is the checklist or the service schedule. If you actually look at this, and this is one of the clear advantages of electric over petrol based bikes, is what's actually required to be done in the servicing. So as you can see, most of this is things like tyre pressure, check nuts and bolts, check nuts, fastenings, etc, etc. and that's because there is no engine. Obviously the engine that's in the rear wheel isn't a serviceable element. There's nothing you can do to it. The battery is also a non-serviceable element, so again, nothing you can do to it. It's protected by a 3-year warranty from OLEV, which will give you unlimited charging options on the battery, so you can charge it as often as you like for 3 years and it will be covered by the warranty, as long as you sort of follow the general guidelines, which is keep the battery inside over winter if you're leaving the bike outside, so don't let it stay out in freezing temperatures, and charge it once a month regardless. You should be covered. And then you have, you know, a simple little instruction manual, and this is a spare key, and then you have the QR code, and the QR code is what is used to register the bike to the app, so you should definitely keep hold of that. We'll show you the app essentially when we get another camera to enable us to do that. As you can see, the bikes overall are nice looking, colours are great. So there is this Ducati version coming that's got essentially in some respects go faster stripes, but it is a Ducati branded bike. You can de-restrict this bike, and if you watch our other videos you'll see how to do that, and all in all it will give you 2.7 kilowatts. So 2.7 kilowatts is its maximum power output. Its nominal power output is 1.3 kilowatts. If you compare that to the new model N1, for example, its nominal power is 1500 watts, which is obviously more than this, but its maximum power is only 2.4 kilowatts, which means that this engine is essentially either more efficient or is tied up to a better battery to enable you to get more power out of it. Okay, so as I said, the end result though is that you can de-restrict this bike and get 40 miles out of it. The de-restriction process is shown on some other videos, but it's a very simple process, and as I said, it will enable you to get from 28 mile an hour up to 40 mile an hour. Okay, so that's essentially the review. The only other little things to point out are obviously that you get a little storage area here, and you also get a USB port for your phone if you need that. As I said, the price is $2099. They are available to order from our website. You're more than welcome to come down and have a test ride, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us either through hello@green-mopeds.com or through our website. Thanks very much.